Morning and welcome to Raymies Garage. A fairly straightforward job today. What I'm going to try and demonstrate here is how easy it is to service this car. A lot of people put their car into a garage to get it serviced on a regular basis. Costs quite a bit of money. However, it's not that difficult if you've got the right tools to basically change the oil, an oil filter, an air filter in this car, even the fuel filter. So this car has probably got about 71,000 miles on the clock. I change my oil every 6 months or every 3,000 or 4,000 miles. I'll stick on the screen here the last time this car was serviced. So it's a fairly straightforward job. A lot of people like to make sure that they get their book stamped when they get the car serviced. My view would be that, you know, it depends on the garage, depends what trust you have in that garage to do what they're supposed to be doing. And we've had several examples where we've had other cars into the garage and demonstrated they didn't even change the oil filter. So I would rather do it myself. It gives me a bit more peace of mind that the car's been maintained, particularly engine oil in this car. It's 4.4 SD V8. It's not difficult. Some people will service it between going to the garage to get serviced, just to get that stamp on the book. But if I was buying this car and this individual showed me all the details of what they've done to that car, I would rather buy this car than a car with a full service history that you don't actually know what they've done. You've just got to put a bit of faith and trust in that. So the reason I'm doing this is probably about due its time, and you've probably seen from my previous video where we replaced the 4 hoses. I've cleaned out the inlet, plenum chamber, throttle body, so there might be some debris in there, but it's probably due its normal service. So this car is 10 years old, or thereabouts. So I'm going to put on the screen the 10-year service sheet. What's supposed to be done on this car at this age, and this, not so much the mileage, but this age more than anything else, which is 120 months, I believe. And you'll notice on the service sheet that the majority of items on that sheet are checks or inspections. There's one thing on this sheet, and I'll try and point that out, is that it tells you to change the transmission oil filter and transmission oil. If you look at other places from GLR or other sources of documents, it tells you that the transmission oil and filter is sealed for life, which is not quite true. And there's a video I've got on here about us changing the transmission oil filter and oil on this car, which is not that difficult if you've got the right tools. When I say the right tools, there's nothing special about them. Some spanners, some sockets, you know, things like that. So get to what we're going to do today. We're going to change the oil, the air filter on this side only. And the reason I change it on this side only is because this is the primary turbo. Most of the air's coming through here. This air filter here is rarely used. And I've checked this because this is the secondary turbo that sits in there that only spools up when we get to about 2,500 to 3,000 RPM under load. So if you go and look at this one, and I might actually just take this off to demonstrate that, that'll be very, very clean. This one, this will probably be clean as well, but I'm going to change it anyway. And we're going to change the oil filter on the car as well. So what oil do I use on this car? Because I change the oil so frequently in this car, I'm not going to spend a fortune on oil, and I'll try and stick the company name, Smith & Allen, which is specifically designed oil with low saps for Land Rover. And it's not that expensive. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's about 80 quid for about 20 litres, which will get you about 2 oil changes, so £40 for oil every 6 months, which is not that bad. If you go and buy all the Castrol stuff that it says to buy for this car, you'll probably pay an absolute fortune for it. But I'm putting it in 6 months later, I'm taking it back out again. And I don't do that many miles in this car, so each to their own and what they want to do as far as servicing goes on their car. Maybe some people don't have the tools and equipment to do this and put it in the garage, get it serviced and put our rubber stamp on it and saying it's been serviced. So let's get to it. All I'm going to do basically is a very simple method, is remove this suction pipe here and we soak out the oil. First of all, what I'll do obviously is I'll take the cap off. I put an oil flush in here, which is STP oil flush. It allows it to get all the gunk out, run the car up to temperature. It's better to do this when it's hot because the oil comes out an awful lot easier when it's hot. A lot of people will say that you should really drain the drain plug and drop the oil out, and it's giving it some force in there to pull some debris out there. We've done a video on that. We've soaked all the oil out, and once we've done that, we've went under the car and we've opened the oil drain plug and there's practically nothing comes out, zero. And this pipe here goes right to the bottom of the sump, practically where the oil sump plug is. And there's other ways of taking oil out of this car because of the turbo return pipes, which are at each side of the engine. You could take them off, but for a 6 monthly quick oil change to keep the car fresh, keep the engine good, I'm not going to bother taking that off. To soak this out, I've got a vacuum pump, I'll show you in a minute. Mine is a pneumatic one, whereas we use compressed air to drive that. However, you do get very simplistic, you've probably seen me using it in other videos, a vacuum pump where it can sit here. It's about £25 to £35 off Amazon, and you basically pump it out by hand, and it's very simple. I do believe the car takes about 9.5 litres of oil, so that's what we put back in again, and I'll show you me checking the oil in that and see how easy it is to do that. So let's get to it and we will start the service. So first thing we're doing is putting some oil flush. This is what I use. Seems to work fine. It's not expensive. It's probably a couple of quid for each bottle. Just pour that straight in there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the car and run it up to temperature. Then we'll get started with the flush. So that's us, engine's up to temperature. I'm now going to hook on my vacuum pump, get the compressor up to speed, and we'll start vacuuming that out. It's like a wee bayonet, it comes off here, like a light bulb. Put that on there. This is on there just to stop any leaks. But that feels pretty stiff actually. I think I put that in there. But I'm going to cut that now because it's a bit dodgy. So this is us ready. Just want to check all my valves. That's shut, that's closed, that's closed. I'll keep this one open. And I'm going to put this up here. I usually hang that up somewhere here. There we go. I've got a wee, I'll put it there in front of the camera. So I've got a wee valve here. Give it some welly. Now see it creating a vacuum. Right there, get our valve open. Let's see that way. And there you see the oil starting to come out. So this is the setup. Got a compressor, feeds the air into there, creates a vacuum, sucks the oil out, and my objective is not to spill any oil. And whilst I'm doing that, I'm going to remove the oil filter. So the oil filters are 36mm. I'll just get this slimed off. And it's very, very handy because it's right at the top of the engine. And I slacken this off, allow it to breathe a wee bit, allow any air to come out. I'll take that off as well. That's pretty slack. So there is a wee gauge in the back of it here. This bit here where you can see the oil coming up, you can hear the hose soaking the oil. As whilst we're waiting, we shall take this off. Airflow sensor, that out, and we've got 4 screws down here. I'll take them off. One, I always drop one here. Just take this off. I think that's them all. Move that camera back a bit. There's a couple of wee clips just holding that on, so you could probably just take that out like so. And there's the air filter. You can see it's a bit dirty on that side. Dirty in there. It's not too bad, but there is quite a bit of dirt in there. So probably got away with not changing that, but I'm going to change it anyway. It's just usual debris. What I've done is I took a wee hose off here to get into that, so that's fine. Give us another wee jag. Here's the new one, nice and clean. Pops in there like that. Make sure the rubber seal's sitting down nicely, and that's about it. It's as simple as that to change that. In here we've got our mass airflow sensor. Looks pretty clean, and we'll just put you back up there again. I think I'm knocking you about a wee bit here. Get that hose on first. That's a hose on. In position. And there we go, and we've got the wee clips back on again. There's that one there. Clip there. Mass airflow sensor back in position. lock tab, screw these down. That. Put this back in. Put my wee rubber cap back on, don't know why, but that's what we do. And that's how easy it is to change air filter. So I expect this one to be a bit cleaner than the other one. I'm just going to slide it out. It's not too bad. Pretty decent. There's not much wrong with that filter. That's just my wee fingerprints on there. So we'll just put you straight back in there. We'll change you the next time we do a service. Get that back in. And that's how easy it is to change the two air filters in this car. It's not difficult at all. Part of the service recommendations at this mileage is to change the fuel filter, but we're going to leave that today because we've changed that fairly recently. And there are a few other things you need to change as well. And we'll be coming to that on that list. Let's go. So we'll just remove the oil filter. Really spin off behind. I'm just trying to get this in here so that I don't create any major oil spills. There's the oil filter. So the oil filters I use are not that expensive. I'm changing them every 6 months. I'm only doing about a couple of thousand miles, so I'm not going to buy very, very expensive oil filters just for a 6-month period. So I'll get our pick, and there's apprentice Pat arrived, late as usual. Most of the work's done when he's there. So we're going to replace the O-ring. New oil filter, O-rings. Oh, that's your sale? Aye. Just changing oil in this. Right, so new O-ring on, the filter. It's twice I've done that because my hands are sliding. A bit of lube on that. I'll get that tightened up in a minute. Right, so that's us finished there. Just tightening up the oil filter, and now we just need to top it up with oil. Put our wee cap back on.
This is 4 litres.
4 litres, put 9 in it. It does take 5, but it's easier to pour when 4's in it. What we'll do now is check the oil level. Okay, final check of the oil level. Ignition on without starting the car, let it run through its cycle before we can click OK. OK, OK, OK. Menu, vehicle service, oil level. Double click the cancel button. It says add half a litre of oil. Okay, I'm going to just let the car run for a minute or two. Now it's saying engine oil okay. Okay. Right, last one. Okay. Menu, service menu, oil level. There you go, it's up to the max.
Oh, that's...
Connect to last tool, so we're now going to reset the service. So resetting the service indicator is service test, instrument pack, service interval reset, reset oil level. It doesn't look as if it's focused, does it?
Huh?
No. Okay, operation succeed, continue, and that's that. So that's us done the service, fairly straightforward. We changed that air filter, we had an inspection on that one, changed the oil filter, put that light on, and changed the oil. So that's how simple it is to service this car or do an oil change in this car. Fairly straightforward, save yourself a lot of money. And we've got apprentice part to put the cover back on again, if he's capable of doing that. Oh, and that's us. So that. Come on, Spock. That's us, guys. Finished for the service for the Range Rover. Hope you enjoyed that video, and that's us for now. See you in the next one. Cheers for now.